Hello everyone, welcome back to Far Horizons Gaming. My name's Ben. Today we're going to be going back to playing some Suzerain again. The last time we spoke about our burgeoning presidency. And we also set up a meeting with the media magnate. So let's take a look at that, see what else we got going here today. Alright. Read the report from Whole Sword. We're going to check this out first. Subject, Party Committee Report. The Reform Committee reports that any potential change to the Constitution in the direction of the reformists will likely result in strong opposition from the National Front Party. Members of Assembly in support of such direction seem to be in great numbers and possibly make up a majority in the Grand National Assembly, while most members of the United Northern Party seem reluctant about supporting such changes. Huh, interesting. Most of the Assembly favors constitutional changes except for our own party and our opposition party. That might make things a little more interesting. I found myself some news here. Yeah, so we read that one. So Conrad Kuranti passed away. The first and most important modern entrepreneur Swordland has ever seen has sadly passed away today. People looked up to Conrad Caronti as a figure of success, respect, and wealth. After his immediate passing, his son Marcel Caronti took over his new title as the new CEO of the Heart of Swordland conglomerate. Yeah, you mentioned that in our phone call earlier. Alright, back to Radical. Got one more here. Glamorous inaugural ball. Whole Sword elite gathers for a lavish state ball. Many citizens in the country are uncertain about their own future, but the state has no problems with wasting taxpayer money right from the start. We demand that these traditions of wasteful nature will become a thing of the past once the present settles in. The team here at the Radical will keep fighting for a better, more equal tomorrow for all. That seems like a waste of money, but I don't know. Alright, Geopolitico. Swordland's regional trade. As the Rayne administration starts its first term, there's a question in all of our heads. What will be the regional international trade policy? Due to the strategic geopolitical location of Swordland, historically Agnolia and Valen have been natural trading partners. Depending on the direction of the Rayne administration, we think it is likely that a new trade deal will be brokered with at least one of these partners in the near term. All in all, regardless of which trading partners the administration decides to go with, one thing is for sure. Regional trade will boost the alien economy. The real question is, what does Volksland or Lesbia think about Swordland? I don't know either of these countries yet. Socialist Republic. I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of business with them. But that's interesting. Drag South Objective. Cool. Alright. Let's close that. Okay. Well, we actually get going on the story here for a change. The Campaign Finance Bill. Sign or veto the Electoral Campaign Finance Bill that was approved by the Grand National Assembly. Alright, say what? The criteria for the allocation of public funds shall no longer be according to the number of votes won in the general election by a political party. The new criteria shall be the proportion of seats won by a political party in the Assembly. Political parties shall receive an annual amount of 500,000 Ren. Oh, that's what SR means, a Swordland Ren. Nice, okay. Anyway, political parties shall receive an annual amount of 500,000 Ren per member of Assembly. This results in a doubling of the USP election budget and a slight increase in the other parties in the Assembly, while effectively removing all funding from parties that are below the 10% election threshold. That's it, Southland. If we sign that, that kind of takes all the smaller parties out of power. Well, not like they had power to begin with, but it gets rid of what little power they had. They're not giving them any money anymore. But at the same time, If it's by percent 1, if you're making less number of votes, you're not even getting 10%. You're not going to make much money anyway, so... Might regret this, but I'm going to sign it. And save game, so I can't go back now. Sweet. Oh, let's see who's yelling at me in the newspapers here. Hey, electoral funding reform from the Whole Sword Post. Campaign finance bill has been signed into law by President Rayne after the approval of the Grand National Assembly by a majority vote on Friday following a 3-hour debate. Friends Rector, who objected to the funding package saying it contained too much unfairness in the allocation of the budget, also sought to delay proceedings by demanding a formal recorded vote, but was overruled. The new law brings small changes to the criteria for the allocation of the campaign budgets, introduces no changes to the total amount of public funds reserved for the political parties, which stands as 100 million Sordish Ren. Cool. And the Radical. They're probably pissed at me about that. ESP hijacks elections. Yes, they are. A new law that further expands on the unfairness of our election system has been approved by the Grand National Assembly and was signed into law by President Rayne. The new law changes the rules of eligibility of the public funds that are reserved for every political party in Swordland. Previously, the funds were given on the basis of the number of votes in the general elections. These changes, the funds will be given on the basis of the number of seats the political party holds, which eliminates every party apart from the 3 that are currently in the Assembly. This insane law also results in the governing United Swordland Party's share from the funds to double. As Anton Rayne's presence begins, we at the Radical are already smelling rot and whole sword. Yeah. Of course, they're also like the weird socialist paper, and we're not going for a socialist playthrough, so... Let's keep an eye on these guys, but fuck them at the same time. Cool, alright. Moving on. Briefing on the current economic situation. Crap, there's more people I gotta try favorite voices for. Dope, okay. Simon Hull, Gus Manger, and Lilius Groff were about to arrive at the White Room for our scheduled economy meeting. This was the room in the Maroon Palace where all important meetings were held. The White Room, yeah, duh. 2 assistants arrived first, carrying a heavy projector. They stood with it by the door, waiting for the ministers to enter. From the hallway, I heard Lilius Groff's voice. She was using the patient, almost motherly tone she often took in heated arguments. Okay. Thus, do you really think that such an economically advanced area is in more need of investment than Ireland? Ah, that sucks. It's too close to the other dude. Yeah, I'll figure something out as we go. It's fine. Lilius, my interior minister, strode in. She's clad in shades of brown and beige, the only spot of color a bright yellow Nurist star on her necklace. Gus followed close behind. Don't be an idiot, Lilius. What about the unemployment crisis the Greater Horseword and Gilsland regions are going through? These areas are our economic heartland. Yeah, I think that's close to the other dude's voice, too. Whatever, it's fine. Gus curled his hands into fists. The Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development's temper hadn't changed since his days in the Alfonso administration. Neither had his reputation for getting things done. His far-reaching network of connections was unlike any other. Simon Hull quickly stepped between the 2 ministers without looking at either of them. He cleared his throat. Good morning, Mr. President. Yeah, I like that one. Alright. Good morning, everyone. How are you? I am very well and motivated, Mr. Rayne. It seems our ministers are feeling the same. Just expected. See that. Great to hear. Alright, let's go with this one. I can clearly see that. What was the discussion about? Okay, gotta come up with a better voice for this guy. We were having a discussion about the infrastructure plans. If I may, I would like to talk to you about the... Simon interrupted. We'll get there, Gus. No rush. First, I'd like to conduct my economy presentation. Yeah, I like that. Those are much better. Cool. Just what Gus has to say. Of course, Mr. President. Sir, I have some very good construction companies willing to take government contracts in the Greater Horseword and Gilsland regions. They should boost the rural economy. I think it would be wise to pick investments that will go through these regions. No need to rush us, Gus. We'll figure it out. Simon pulled a silk handkerchief out of his pocket and briefly wiped his glasses. My staff and I have comprehensively analyzed every aspect of... He was interrupted by a groan from one of the assistants by the door, both of whom were now visibly struggling to hold up the heavy projector. Oh, you can put that there. He pointed below the painting of President's soul. The assistants placed the projector next to the table and installed a white screen on the wall. Leave now. I mean, thank you, and please leave now. The assistants left the cabinet room. I was reminded that Simon had never quite had a way with people, but his facility with numbers had made him the most sought-after economic specialist in Swordland. Simon started looking for his slides. He always carried documentation around with him. Let's just wait. Lilius leaned to the table and spoke. Simon, what happened to the new police station construction as told? Yeah, that's better. We'll go with that voice. Let's try to anyway. While going through his briefcase, he paused for a moment to answer. It got stalled due to government property boundary issue. I have been meaning to look at it. I can take a look at that one. Estor needs all the security help it can get. Reckon. Sure, more time for me to spend on analyses. His eyes glittered when he finally found the slides he were looking for. Nice. When he finally found the slides he was looking for. There have been some developments about the Swordish Wren losing further value today. We've been trying to stabilize it with a central bank. The recession of 51 put enormous pressure on the economy, resulting in the collapse of the value of our currency. The entire situation was a significant cause of concern for our administration. Yeah, you never want your currency devalued. It's not helpful. What would you like to know about the current economic situation? Shit, all of it, I guess? What is our GDP and debt situation? Our current GDP is 310 billion Swordish Wren, and the national debt is 427 billion. That's not a good number. It's still hard to fathom that we lost nearly 150 billion in wealth. The past 3 years were tough. Oh shit, dude. What is our unemployment and inflation rate? Unemployment has skyrocketed. It is now at a staggering 16%. The inflation is at a relative high of 7%. Unemployment is increasing crime and drug use. We need to get people off the streets. Inflation isn't helping our average citizen either. What is the status of the recession? The economy has been in a recession of about minus 6% in the past year. The average GDP has dropped from 15,454 Ren per capita to 10,359 from 1951 to now. This administration's success depends on our ability to stop the recession. The sooner we can reach GDP growth, the better. Sounds like a mess, but I have all the information needed. Let's move on to the economic strategy. Simon scattered the paper stack in front of him in an orderly manner and took a final look at his notes before clearing his throat. As you can see, the situation is alarming, but not everything is negative. The extensive privatization program of Alfonso left us a large budget surplus which we can use to stabilize the crisis. The primary subject we'll need to settle on is what general path we'll take in our term. Solonomics-based nationalism happened in the 30s, and Alfonso's privatization began during the end of the 40s. What will our administration focus on? One of our main promises was to promote a free market economy to stop the recession. To be frank, I believe it is the only way out of the recession. I still do not support it. Why promote the private sector when we have qualified state-owned enterprises? Because the lack of competition has made them inefficient. Simon nodded. Consequences of the free market, more of the economy controlled, better managed recession, where the downsides of a planned economy, and the 20th century is thriving. Let's go with the first one. What are some of the consequences of the free market strategy? There are not many, but one could say that we are much more likely to be influenced by the world economy. It is important to think about this subject because the upswings of the world economy will reflect good on ours too. Yes, and when the global economy crashes, we go down with it. The
structural problems of Solonomics were going to lead to recession according to the predictions of the time anyway. Either way, even if we pick one of the doctrines, we retain the option to make economic choices on a case-by-case basis.
That is, however, not recommended from my point of view. The last thing we need is a chaotic economic plan.
Finally, something we can both agree on, Lilius.
There's another important point which has direct impact on our economy. Superpowers. We might have won the election, but I'm still against aligning ourselves with any superpowers.
Economically speaking, we are much more closer to Arcasia than United Cantana, so the decision to align to the west makes more sense.
We must be very cautious. There are schemes being devised about Swordsland. We cannot give in to their wants now or in the future. Otherwise, our country will turn into a pawn. I want you to reconsider your promise to align with Arcasia.
Entering the sphere of Arcasia will help boost our economy in many ways. They are wealthy and influential.
Exactly. I like to think that it's a very valuable partnership. With the deals we'll get by aligning ourselves with a strong country like Arcasia, recession would surely end in no time.
You return from what? Swordsland's independence? When the time comes, I hope you'll make the right decision for our own good.
Simon cleared his throat again.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Minister Vichy will be in charge of informing you on those types of foreign policy decisions. We must first decide on our internal economic plan.
Simon put forward a legal document outlining the possibilities with both economic doctrines listed. The cabinet members looked at me. Questions here first. Would a free market focus bring us stronger allies?
It would make Arcasia look at a country in a more positive light. They are proponents of the free market economy.
The influence Arcasia has on the world economy is extensive. Our economic strategy should be based on internal reasoning, though.
What's on our long-term economic schedule?
Beginning construction company, trade relations, tax reform, and privatization initiatives would be some of them.
Sticking to a solid planned economy strategy would be the right call. 5-year plans were fruitful in the past.
Well, we're going to keep going with capitalist free market reforms. Let's finish what Alfonso started with the capitalist free market reforms. His path was going to enrich Swordsland.
The recession was the direct result of his free market reforms.
History must note that the reason for the recession was because Evald Alfonso was betrayed by his party.
That is not true. There's plenty of time for him to do it. If you can't make change happen in 2 years, then you are at fault.
Let's move on.
What are your final thoughts then, Mr. President?
Critical institutions must remain in state control, so we're responsible for services, opportunities, optimization to create natural resources. Economy doesn't require as much guidance. Note number 2. We should look at opportunities like privatization to create financial resources.
That is exactly my mentality. There are many possibilities that are waiting, like education or health privatization. It would be better to promote a market economy for these to have consistency in our plan. So, what will our general economic plan promote?
Promote a free market economy, as we promised.
I can't say that I agree with this.
Lilius looks displeased.
Now that there is clarity on which direction we are heading, I will work a good plan accordingly. This concludes our meeting. At our next gathering, we will talk about the upcoming infrastructure investment plan.
Now that the economic direction was taken, the ministers dispersed for lunch at the Maroon Palace. Oh, wow, a ton of things just opened up. A lot of stuff here. Alright, let's check the news first and we'll look around. 4 under newspapers. Alright, Swordsland today. Economy meeting held in Holsword. Contacts close to the government report that yesterday, Swordsland's economic policy has been planned behind closed doors. Shortly after the meeting that was also attended by President Rayne, The Ministry of Economy has released a statement regarding the short-term economic plans, which include the promotion of a free market economy. Just short, straight to the point. I like it. Lock given times. Freezing temperatures recorded. Meteorological Institute has reported the record low temperature of -29 in the city of Suzerain. A warning for frostbite has been issued in the cities of southern Bergia. People are advised not to go out unless they must due to the risk of frostbite. The schools are closed for this period. Where is it? I wonder what temperature system they use. I mean, that's freaking cold either way, but it's Fahrenheit. That's like stupid cold. Whatever. Anyway, let's go back to these douchebags at the Radical. Right, nationalist violence. A man in his 20s has been beaten with baseball bats in a paramilitary-style attack in Arvory. The man claims to have been attacked because of his ethnic background as an Anglo-Scottish citizen. He was approached during a walk at the park by a group of right-wing extremists who are suspected of being regulars at the local National Front Party office. The group inflicted injuries to his legs and arms, police said. The man was brought to the hospital after making his way to nearby property. The police service of Arvory said it was a brutal attack for which there is no justification. There is no place for attacks such as this in our society, said Eric Neal, mayor of Arvory, and called for unity and urged restraint from the populace. Alright, check out the Economists. Armadine Industries pioneering electronics. A new prototype for the first pocket radio was displayed by the Arcasian electronics company Armadine Industries in Ventry City. After 6 years of research, the engineers behind the pocket transistor radio have revealed that the material science questions regarding the composites have been solved. The company is now filing the patents for the product. Don't you want to file the patents before you reveal your product so someone can't steal it? I don't know, whatever. I'm not a company. The CEO of Armadine, Aaron Bridges, is predicting an IPO at VCSE in the upcoming years. In a bid to raise further investment, Mr. Bridges has called for all venture capitalists who believe in the future of science and technology in the marketplace to invest in the company. President of Arcasia, Dwight Walker, praised the bright minds of Arcasian engineers following the announcement, called for further technological advancements for the military-industrial complex. That's not cool. It sounds like a very Western country then. Alright, so we got crap load of new things here, so let's just kind of make our way around the map. Alright, we're going to start at Morna. Increased unemployment. The number of people filing for unemployment in Morna continues to rise as the recession continues. The change in economic conditions is historic and stunning in its speed, said the mayor of Morna. In the aftermath of the crisis of 1951, the unemployment rate in Morna rose to 9% in the following year. The last 6 months have almost erased all gains in employment over the last 2 decades. That's not cool. Something we might have to keep an eye on. Alright, let's try heading over to Sarna. Promising agricultural growth. For the first time in 3 years, the agricultural output of Sarna has increased. Many experts link the increased output to both a drop in temperatures and new farming practices that have been adopted in recent years. Additionally, farmers are now accessing more generous credit allowances from the government that are left over from the Alfonso administration. The Ministry of Agriculture reports that the region's agricultural industry has potential to become a powerhouse in the future if investments persist. That's cool. Gotta build up our country's agriculture. Alright, Gilzord Infrastructure Report. The recession led to a reduction in rail assets, with more than a fifth of the railway network itself antiquated, being mothballed in the recent years. While the main lines of the railway network are currently in service, increasing demand in goods from Gilzord to the capital is pushing the network to its limits. The rail signaling system in the region dates from the middle of the last century and is also in need of improvement. That's not good. It's like we're going to have to spend a lot of time and money trying to fix infrastructure in this country. Alright, we'll skip over the exclamation and just keep looking at the reports here for a second. Glenkirk. The recent collapse of the tourism industry in Glenkirk has led to a reduction in trade traffic and road maintenance. The road network is currently in service, but is in need of substantial improvement. Ports, county roads, and bridges similarly suffer from a lack of investment. Firms doing business in Lanker report a significant shortage of warehousing facilities, particularly refrigerated facilities, with implications both for the transportation system and the ability to serve the population's basic food and health needs. Again, this goes to the same thing. This country needs some drastic infrastructure changes. Slack, exclamation's all that's left. So let's move on. Lockhaven, invest in mega infrastructure. Decision to invest in one of 2 planned mega infrastructure projects. Oh, sweet. That's literally what I was just talking about. Okay. Ministry of Economy has put forward 2 bold plans for mega infrastructure projects that would help with the economic recession in the long term. Investing in projects of this scale will take up some portion of our budget, but could prove worthwhile if accomplished successfully. Well, let's invest in mega infrastructure projects. Government budget decreased. Okay. Oh, I see. Our government budget's now 2. Personal wealth is still 2 as well. Economic development is at a 4. I'm not sure what it was before because I wasn't paying attention. Oh, that's cool. This might be... electoral funding? Yeah, I was afraid I was going to say that. Okay. What else do we have going on? Limited women's rights. Court backlog. It's got a significant court backlog. The Blutish problem. Swordsman's complicated relationship with millions of Blutish people living inside its borders. Okay, so that's some nice systemic racism. I like it. Gotta fix that. Judicial rivalry. Supreme Court and Minister of Justice are busy bitching at each other. Handful of human rights issues. But a mostly free press. That's helpful. So, on with the Blutish racism. Their political party has been deemed criminal. Okay, alright, so those are just some things we need to try to fix. Active policies, promote free market. God, there's so many problems in this country. Weak transportation, unemployment crisis, tax evasion, decreased trade volume, Bergia economy plummeting, war in Rust Belt, island lacks investment, stagnated production. Military interference in politics, outdated military equipment, internal security jurisdiction, large reservist pool, and experienced generals. Well, the military actually seems to be alright. Welfare is mostly red. Overburdened welfare system, low quality rural healthcare, inaccessible rural education, inconsistent curriculum. Jesus, okay. Middle ground on the soulless education? Oh, so that sounds like trying to promote loyalty to our dear leader. I'm a fan of that, but I guess it's kind of a neutral thing. And good urban institutions. So if you're in the city, you get a good education. If you're anywhere else, you can get fucked, I guess. That's not good. Okay, order is all red. Corruption, illegal immigration, and organized crime. Sweet. Diplomacy, Rumberg, expansionism, lack of allies. We're also an influential OMEC member with experienced diplomats. So we're not in great shape, but we're not quite as bad as we could be. Alright, is that the only thing? Yep, looks like that's the last section left. Alright, back to Lockhaven. Discussion of the potential infrastructure projects. Oh, well, thank you. The view towards the Marking Sea from Lockhaven was nothing short of exquisite. The seaside state residence, fittingly named the Blue Mansion, was large, fine, and accommodating. And enjoying this luxurious mansion was the main reason of our visit. We gathered the economic team here to discuss the new infrastructure investment project. Half an hour had already passed since the start of the meeting. Unfortunately, I didn't even have the chance to have my usual afternoon coffee. Looking at the view from the windows, I let my mind drift for a couple of seconds. Simon's voice brought me back into the ongoing discussion.
Mr. President, we need to focus on boosting the economy as quickly as possible. One of the fastest ways to achieve this is through infrastructure projects.
What can we focus on?
On the one hand, businessmen are complaining about the slow logistical rail network between Holzor and Lockhaven.
Lilius started talking as soon as Simon took a breath.
On the other hand, citizens are criticizing the lack of a proper highway connection between Lockhaven and Arvery. The narrow roads by the seaside are not only dangerous but also difficult to traverse.
We need to pick the most profitable option for the economic growth.
Which is obviously connecting our two most economically powerful cities.
But it's not the business people that will suffer, but the ordinary folk.
What really matters, though, is that we can accomplish something tangible in your first economic act.
We must prove our administrative capabilities. The people must know that this administration can get things done.
Therefore, I defined two important projects for your attention, the H3 Highway Project and L1 High-Speed Railway Project.
Mr. Hall repositioned himself on the chair to take a more comfortable posture.
The Ministry can only support one project at a time with the current capacity and budget. Let's move on to the details of each. So, which one do you want to hear about first?
The highway project.
The H3 project aims to improve the abysmal state of the road network in the island region bordering Agnolia. The whole area is home to several million Anglo-Sordish and Sordish who feel neglected. There are no proper highway connections to and from Island. Mayor of Arbury, Eric Neal, has been asking for a bigger budget to develop the regional infrastructure.
He told us that even trucks are having a hard time traveling through the main roads. Increased traffic is causing trouble for people commuting in and out of the region.
I agree. This could also hurt the local businesses.
It is, bless their souls. I'm happy we're thinking alike on the matter.
Let us look at the map.
Look at the map. I looked at the map. Lilius was pointing at Lockhaven.
H3 highway route starts here and leads to Lenkirk,
which is over here.
From there it goes all the way to Arvery.
Which I don't know where the hell Arvery is. Oh, right there. Duh.
As a result, the road network towards the Angolian capital, Stalport, would improve substantially.
She paused and leaned forward in her chair.
I saw the central government continuously neglect the Agno-Sordish dominated regions when I was mayor. Is this administration going to continue that kind of negligence?
Make any Sordish citizens be respected like all of us.
I am all for Sordish citizens without separation of preference, therefore we should think about the country overall.
It has to be pointed out the highway would be less beneficial in the near term.
I have to disagree. It will increase the speed of transportation throughout the region. Our citizens will be quite pleased if we successfully accomplish this. Besides, if we trade talks to Agnolia, they would see the investment as a positive sign.
Yeah, this is interesting and all, but could you tell me about the railway project?
Your predecessor, Alfonso, has failed to deliver on this campaign promise, but now we have the opportunity to start the construction of the groundbreaking railway project. As you know, our current trains cannot meet the standards of today. As many other countries adopt this new electric engine technology to power up their trains, we fall one step behind.
News about the new electric trains in United Cantona has piqued business interest. They too want to transport resources and material from Holzort to Lockhaven with great speed and efficiency.
Major cities of Sordelin need more infrastructure to support the growing population.
This should be our priority, growth and development optimization.
Our plan is to upgrade the old L1 line from Holzor to Lockhaven. It will transform to high-speed rail.
I looked at the map. Gus was pointing at Holzord while Simon was looking attentively.
Plane construction starts right here at the capital. We will go to Onrika first,
Just this place here.
and continue to Gelzord. After which it will reach Lockhaven, our economic powerhouse.
Pretty nice long train line.
The L1 will significantly boost the economy of the newly linked cities,
Be in the newly linked cities?
and even the rural areas in between. Lockhaven is our primary port, so the goods unloaded there will be transported to Holzor much faster.
Yes, we should link these rural areas in the middle with the major cities of Swordland.
You're talking about the wealthiest regions, forgetting about Island, which needs it more.
The Mayor of Onrika, Curtin Lest, also requests this project be prioritized.
Businessmen in the region will be very content, which increases investments and employment. Therefore, I will recommend the L1 high-speed rail project.
I have settled on a decision.
Excellent. What will your final choice be, Mr. President?
We're gonna go with the highway project. We'll see what happens. Decide on the H3 highway project to improve the infrastructure in our poorer regions.
Oh, thank God. I knew you'd see reason.
The negotiations will begin in the middle of the year. You'll be able to award the contract to a corporation of your choice. The Ministry estimates that the entire construction will finish in 2 years if every step going forward is executed successfully.
Good. Is there anything else?
This should be all, Mr. President.
See you soon, Mr. Rayne.
Have a nice day, Mr. President.
Evening settled on the beautiful coastline of Lockhaven. Nice. Alright. I think I'm going to go and call it an episode here. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you'll tune in next time.